you. Thank you. So, I don't know if anyone else is freezing. I can't stop shaking. Okay, so I thought I would just start before I talk about our relationship with AWP, which is very new, a quick introduction to FAO, because before I got a job there, I'd actually didn't really know much, I hadn't really heard about it, to be honest. So we are focused on food security, which includes obviously nutrition and many strategic objectives we have here, but the main one that I'm interested in and that is relevant to our relationship with AWP is supporting sustainable management of agriculture, forestry and fisheries, and this is where our water management work comes in. So we have 194 member countries, a few more than the World Bank, which was curious to me, but 48 in the region, and we have 36 country offices across the region, and I lead the land and water team in the regional office, which is based in Bangkok. And I just came back from my Christmas break to the pleasant surprise that my team has tripled in size because of our decentralisation process, which is going on. So we have a lot more capacity than we did in December when we actually signed the partnership. So how do we work? I think something that we're most famous for is our data analysis. We have about 1,000 people sitting in Rome looking at food prices. I'm sure many people in the room have used Aquastat before, and you'll be pleased to know that we're doing a big overhaul of that and trying to really improve the data that we have there. And then we also have regional level efforts where we try and overview food security, produce early warnings for famines and food prices and food security and that sort of thing. We also provide a meeting place for negotiations between governments and sharing of best practices. We're very busy at the moment getting ready for our regional conference in May, where every Minister for Agriculture across the region will be meeting in Fiji to talk about their priorities and what they really want FAO to focus on over the next 3 years. So we're very much a responsive technical agency of the UN. We respond to what the governments ask us for, but we also have a role in stimulating the demand and getting them to ask us what we think they should possibly be looking more at. We produce policy advice and guidance and normative products, for example, voluntary guidelines on land tenure, some of our most famous ones, which can help governments or often NGOs in countries hold their governments to account to certain standards that are that they should be sticking to help the poor and vulnerable farmers, which are sort of our main clients. We also have a very extensive range of field projects where we work directly with governments to help them try and implement that advice, and that's actually a key area where I see FAO working with AWP to help turn that advice into getting through to the farmers and through to the irrigation scheme managers, through to the people that are actually managing water. And then finally, we do actually do disaster response. This is one of our fancy drones. We have drones in many of our countries now where we're doing mapping of the countries, helping provide warning for drought and flood, and training the governments to use this equipment so we can hand it over. So I think at 5 weeks old, we are AWP's newest partner, I'm not sure. But we signed a new MOU in December. And the way I see it, I mean, it's open to discussion, but I think FAO could really act as a technical agency of the UN with an extensive range of country offices and a certain embeddedness in the country governments. We can act as a conduit for a lot of the expertise that is in this room. So I'm looking forward to spending the next few days meeting as many of you as possible. I've got a few ideas for how we can work together, but very much open to what we can really be focusing on, especially around irrigation and the way that is embedded in water resources management in the region. So the big challenges have been largely covered by Sonali, but I will just cover some of them very much from a food and an agricultural perspective. As I'm sure you know, agriculture consumes up to 90% of the water, especially in our largely agrarian economies, so it is one of the big water management issues. Of the, it's about 800 million hungry in the world, 500 million are in Asia, mostly in South Asia. And this is still quite high, and very concerningly, last year we actually saw a reversal in positive trends. So we're actually seeing increases in numbers of the hungry in this region in South Asia, and we're starting to return to almost 2011 levels, losing about 5 or 6 years of gain. So this is a concern. We also have huge inequality. We have 1 billion people at the same time who are overweight or obese in the world, and we're also wasting either before or after production about 30% of the food that we produce. Rapid structural transformation, it has been mentioned, very important for agriculture because it basically means in most of our countries across Asia, not all, we're seeing agriculture declining in importance in terms of the amount it's contributing to GDP and also in terms of incomes. So it produces some pretty significant political issues when farmers are getting poorer and poorer relative to the rest of the economy. And this has some very important implications. It may not be immediately obvious, but it is important for water management. Farm size is a big one. If we are to accept that farmers are going to join the mainstream economy, in many countries farms are going to get bigger. So what does this mean for the farmers that are currently there? How do we smoothen this transition to large commercialised farms? And what types of farmers and what people are being left on the farms? In some countries, we're seeing a real feminisation of agriculture as the women are being left back on the farms and men seek opportunities in the cities. Also, integration. Some countries in our region, like Japan, Korea, Taiwan, have been very good at integrating their irrigation landscapes with their urban landscapes as urbanisation has increased. But that requires some pretty firm urban planning rules and systems that will be quite a challenge, I think, in some of our countries. And what are some of the new opportunities for farmers with this increasing integration of urban and rural areas? Sonali mentioned that we are seeing a rapid urbanisation in this region. I think by 2050 we will have 50% of the world's total urban residents will be in the Asia Pacific, but again it's not happening everywhere. In Southeast Asia, the urban population, the rural population, we've already passed peak rural population, but in the Pacific up until 2050 we're still going to see growth in the rural areas. And this presents both challenges, I think, and some opportunities. So the lines will increasingly become blurred, I think, between urban and rural landscapes. And there are going to be some pretty scary trade-offs, I think, especially over water, over recharge zones, over water quality. But there are also some really good opportunities. Sonali mentioned reusing wastewater in peri-urban agriculture. And these are some of the areas that I hope to see FAO and some of the partners here moving into. And of course, water scarcity and continued ecological decline. Water scarcity in this region can either be seasonal, it can be physical or absolute, where we see drying rivers and falling groundwater levels, or it can just be certain parts of the year, or it could be because we've over-constructed some of our basins, so they are now closed and all of the water is allocated, which leads to shortages during the dry season. But of course, it's not just scarcity. Agriculture is both a victim but also quite a villain in terms of pollution, biodiversity loss, deforestation, loss of soil fertility, and erosion and desertification. So these are all issues that I think we need to start looking at in a more holistic way. And climate change, as Sonali mentioned, we see this as a threat multiplier. It's really difficult to say exactly what is going to be happening. I don't think our data or our models are good enough yet, but we do know that things are going to change and become more uncertain, with glaciers melting, river patterns changing, wet season, extreme events getting more extreme, and longer dry periods. So this all has significant impacts on the way we do our disaster risk reduction, our planning, and our investments in infrastructure. So what does all this mean for, specifically for irrigation and for agriculture and for water resources management? Many of our irrigation systems, I think almost 75% of the world's irrigation is in Asia, so it is a significant issue. Many are still in this vicious cycle of build, neglect, rebuild. And you get farmers getting a poor service, so they're reluctant to pay their fees, so then there's less money for O&M, and the cycle continues. Irrigation service, I've been talking a bit about this to Rob Rendell and others, is poorly defined and unreliable, and this leads to farmers being reluctant to increase in input and to put their own money into inputs because they don't know when their water is going to be coming. It also means that if available, they're increasingly turning to groundwater, and we've seen an explosion of groundwater use across the region. Despite, I think, pretty heavy investments in water planning, water models, we've got fantastic modelling, there are still few systems of water entitlements like we have here in Australia, where they're accepted, they're enforceable, and they're transparent. So this means, and these are just some ideas, and we'll talk about more of this, I hope, over the coming days, but priority intervention should start with water accounting, no matter how basic. We should know what is happening to the water cycle where we're intervening. We need to focus on increasing water productivity of our large systems, and this isn't just about irrigation, but about the seeds people are using or they have access to, about the crops, the markets, the technology. We need to increasingly train our irrigation scheme managers as water managers. Well, that's time. And we need to prevent and even reverse ecological decline. So we work in three main ways in FAO. We provide technical assistance mostly to the World Bank, up to about $2 billion in our irrigation modernisation projects. So this is an example from Afghanistan, where we have a $280 million project working with the World Bank in modernising their schemes. And this actually, both of these, we also have our own project pipelines with the Global Environment Facility and the Green Climate Fund. They both provide big opportunities, I think, to extract the knowledge, the experience on the ground, and reduce those normative products which people expect from FAO. This year, for example, we're planning a number of normative products from the climate smart agriculture source books, water accounting, water tenure, land tenure assessments, managing solar powered irrigation for sustainable groundwater use, and climate smart irrigation guidelines. And then my final slide, there's a bit of a rush, but I got there, is some initial thoughts on opportunities for FAO and Australian Water Partnership collaboration. I'm happy to talk to people as we go through this week, but I think irrigation is a big area that we should obviously be working together, and there is a need to get out there, spend some time in the countries and assess what are their real demands, what are the priority needs, and then take that up using our regional presence up to the regional office and do some joint capacity building and learning. We're also looking at an irrigation benchmarking project with IMI and the AWP. And then we're trying to bring everything together. There are lots of things happening with water scarcity, especially in South Asia. We are doing those things there, but also there are many other people working on this. And I want to try and get FAO to work with AWP and others to bring some harmonisation to the approaches, and at the very least stop us from doing the same thing in the same countries, which very often happens very often. We're starting this year a new platform with the Near East region, another very water scarce region of the world, and we have some core FAO funds to get that started this year. And then we're currently in discussions with the Green Climate Fund. They want to get more strategic with their funding, and we're thinking about a water and agriculture, water and climate change program for the region. So no more just baby projects, but a program of similar projects across the region.